Welcome back to another episode of Once a Warrior, and it's a bula vanaka to you and my guest, Marcelo Montoya. Thanks for your time, brother. How are you?
Bula Mont, mate, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Always good to see you. Always bringing that energy and that smile, bro. So thanks for having me on.
That's what you bring, brother, and first class. Okay, Marcelo Eduardo Montoya. Talk to me about the background.
Yeah, so I'm named after my father. So I'm actually Marcelo Eduardo Montoya Jr. So I've got, it's a long name. Mont.
Nice.
So yeah, but just named after my father. So my mother's Fijian and my old man is Chilean. He was born over there. So yeah, it's a crazy dynamic, but yeah, it's a good balance.
Yeah, Mars, it's a Warriors show here. We always talk about the Warriors, but you know, debuts are special. You're playing against the Warriors on your debut match for the Bulldogs. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like I remember it like it was yesterday. Obviously, it's always special when you're making your debut, but then when you're debuting against a Warriors team, I was mucking up against Big Monty. So, it was real daunting, bro. Obviously, one of my idols as well. So I was in awe of him, and to top it off, you know, like Manu goes down injured, unluckily, and then Big Kenny Mamolo comes on. So yeah, for me it was a daunting night. We're lucky that night to get the lollies, but
you also scored a try, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't do much, Mons, to be honest. I just dropped under Josh Morris. I think the centre was Solomon Akata, and he kind of slid out on Josh, and I just came under untouched. Yeah. I was dropping under to get away from Ken.
Ken Mamalo. yeah. Fair enough.
I was dropping under to get away from Ken. So, but it was an awesome experience, bro, and I was pumped up. So yeah, I was carrying on a little bit. But first try, fair enough.
Leered up, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, Mars, it's a Warriors show, so let's look at your time in the Warriors jumper.
Montoya, defenders to contend with, and he slips past all of them.
Beautifully taken, juggle and a score.
Oh, there, have some of that, Marcelo Montoya.
Montoya with a Superman cape on. Coming through, Marcelo Montoya gets his man. Get out of here. Montoya down the sideline. A big collision, and Montoya wins. Oh, he's collared. Now Montoya. Oh, Montoya, what a take. What a try for Marcelo Montoya.
Mars, that's a highlight reel, man. The feels when you watch that back?
Yeah, it's awesome, Mont. It's not the flashy stuff I do. It's more the tough stuff and just doing my job for the team. And that's the kind of player I want to be. That's what I bring. That's my strength. So, but it's awesome to see some of those highlights. It brings back, you know, some good memories. And I know the Warriors fan base are awesome, man. And I'm very lucky that they support me and that they enjoy what I do as well. So I imagine that they're at home cheering for me as well. Like my family are always crazy going off, and if something happens on the field and if I'm involved, they're always happy for me. But yeah, more so my teammates' smiles. Like when I see that, then I know that I'm doing my job right.
The courageous runs. Is there a team that you like to test yourself against more than others? I mean, because how do you pick out the person you're going to run at? Yeah, the teams that I kind of get excited about are the teams that like to compress in yardage and I guess bash you up. And I guess yeah. So teams like that, I like to test my character and see if I want to bring that same energy that I brought the week before that game, even if I'm feeling a bit sore. So games like that, I really test you as a player, knowing that these guys are coming out to belt you and how you're going to respond. You know, you can run hard one week, come the next week thinking, oh, I'll chill this week. You can't in the NRL. You can't, otherwise you're not going to get a quick play the ball. So yeah, it's more against those teams that like to compress up in yardage. Yeah. And belt us, so yeah. Mars, I don't know if you're actually a winger or a middleman because you love the contact, and I'm talking about defence too. You've laid the smackdown a few times. You like doing that?
I guess if it's within our principles and our systems, then I like doing it, Mon. You know, if I'm on the end of the line and I'm able to step in there or I'm able to go land on that fullback, I enjoy it. But I think for me, it's that contact, and like you said, I do enjoy that contact. I do enjoy trying to impose myself when I can. Yeah. And that's how I get myself in the game. But if I'm able to do it within our principles and our systems, then I'm happy to do it.
You don't mind having a little chirp as well?
Yeah, I get a bit chirpy here and there, but I won't start, I guess, the chirpiness. But if someone comes at me, then they're going to get it back for sure.
Yeah. After these tough games, in particular, how long's the recovery sometimes in the worst occasions?
In the worst occasions, say if we play on a Saturday, I'll still be feeling sore maybe on the Wednesday still, like today. So, but it's just the way I play the game. It's the way that I believe I should play the game, and it's my strength. And I'll think I'll keep doing that until the body says, mate, you've had enough.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Let's talk advantage line, something you and Dale do very well, Chance as well, and why it's so important in terms of why Webby wants you to hit it at that advantage line. Yeah,
it's a great question, Monty, and I think the answer to that is if you're catching the ball behind the advantage line, then you're giving the opposition more time to get to you and to rush you back or to create a good play for their team. So for us, if we're catching at the advantage line, yeah, we still might get belted, but it still gives us an opportunity to fight hard to play the ball, and at least we're catching it there. And say if we're getting driven back 5 metres, we're 5 metres there, so we're not on the try line. So it's all about percentages for Webby, and he always drives that within us during the week, and it's something that's probably helped my game get better.
But you know why it's courageous? Because Webby says if you hit it at the advantage line, someone's got to give. It's almost a game of chicken, because if you go as hard as you can, and they go as hard as they can, if you're going even harder, they're potentially going to stop on the heels before you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what you're hoping. You're hoping if I hit it at the advantage line as fast and as hard as I can, he may choose not to come up further.
Look, once I'm hoping, but when you're looking up and you see Josh Papali'i there and you see Joe Tapane there, they're not stopping, brother. They're coming for your head. So it's all about you just saying it's pretty much me or you, but when you're looking up and their forwards are set, sometimes you're coming off second best, but then like I said before, it's how you fight hard to play that ball and try gain a little bit of momentum for that next carrier.
Let's go back to 2021 when you first came to the club. It was through a crazy era, the COVID era, and maybe you're part of the COVID cavalry. There was a number of players that found their way to the club. How did you first get told, and how did you respond?
Yeah, came off contract at the Bulldogs, and they told me that they weren't going to re-sign me. So it was a scary time in my career, but it was a time where I was kind of going back and forth with if I wanted to play rugby league anymore. I went through a tough time mentally, and I was battling some demons there, and because I wasn't playing good footy, mate. And the Warriors threw a lifeline, to be honest, Monty, and I was so grateful. I went in with an open mind. I knew I was going to be a backup back. You know, we had Big Kenny there and Big Fuss on other wings, so I was more than happy to come in and to learn off these kind of guys that have played for their country, that have racked up experience. So for me, it was about coming in and respecting that and just kind of learning off these fellas. But to come in, look like a year late after COVID, and to see kind of the effect they had on the boys, you know, from being away from their families was tough. But we had good people around us and people that cared for us, and that made me want to play for those boys. Like, seeing what they've been through, like the sacrifices just for the competition to keep running.
Nathan Brown, how was he for your growth, and what type of a leader in terms of coach?
Yeah, no, Brownie was massive for me. Monty, he kind of gave me that opportunity and gave me that confidence, or kind of instilled that confidence back in me that I lost when I was at the Bulldogs. And he just kind of, I guess, was real honest with me when I came to the Warriors and told me where I stood, and I was happy with that. I was happy to work hard and wait in the background until my opportunity came. But he was awesome for myself. You know, we're still close friends today, me and Brownie. Obviously, the circumstances didn't work out for himself. But look, in the end of the day, he's in a better place, and we're in a better place as a club as well.
All right, Mars, we heard about your debut match, and it was against the Warriors. This time, your debut for the Warriors. Talk to me about the week. When did you find out, and just the build-up? I know you probably weren't as nervous either now that you're a lot more experienced.
Yeah, it's very special when you don that Warriors jersey. My opportunity came a bit early in that year, in 2021, with the injury of Petahiku. So Brownie spoke to me early in the week and told me that I was going to play in the centres, and I knew that I came to the club to do a job in the backs anywhere. Mate, I was just grateful to get that jumper again. You know, to think a year before I was ready to throw the towel in and quit playing footy, and then now getting my debut jersey for the Warriors was pretty cool. Yeah. And knowing that my older brother's actually a diehard Warriors fan, he was very happy. We were doing it tough at the time once, but look, at the same time, I got to verse Roosters, a great team, and I was marking up against Josh Morris, who is a great role model for myself, and I was coming up through the grades at the Bulldogs, so it was cool to play against someone like that and mark someone of that calibre.
We always love scoring tries, especially the outside backs like yourself. Now, you scored a double when you scored your first try, back-to-back. How was it? What's your memories? Tigers?
Yeah, mate, it was awesome. But I'm sure Reece was involved in both of those tries, to be honest. It was a pretty cool experience. We were playing down at Turrigal, so we didn't have much of a crowd. I think it was still COVID, so there wasn't any crowds allowed, to be honest. Although it would have been better to score 2 tries at Mount Smart in that corner. But look, I'm very grateful, obviously, to be playing off someone like Reece and to get those tries. So it's always awesome to score tries, but I still love doing the hard stuff better.
Reece Walsh, he's just gone on to stardom. Maybe that's because you took him under your wing. Talk to me about Reece Walsh, him getting his chance early, and what you remember of a young guy who is just blowing up now.
Yeah. Man, like, look, Reece is a special talent, and like everyone says when they talk about those GIs, those Billy Slaters, they're like generational kind of talent. So I think he's definitely one of those players. When he came to the Warriors, like, the first thing I noticed of him was he's very confident, electric monster. Like, the way he moved, it's probably similar to Sean Johnson when he first came on the scene in terms of how he could move laterally and just get around people. But yeah, it's crazy to think that he's still so young and doing at this age. So he's only going to get better. And he set me up a few tries as well. So, mate, I'm always happy to play with someone like that. He's a skillful player and he's a very good talent. So, yeah.
You came for an opportunity, 18 games, 5 tries. You took that opportunity. How do you sum up your first year in the Warriors colours, albeit away from home?
Yeah, I mean, I sum it up. I was very proud of myself in how I kind of turned my mental game around. It's always hard when you're a professional athlete and you're down on confidence. So for me, it was about getting that confidence back, believing in my abilities again, and just showing what I could do. So yeah, it was one of growth for me, Monty, and it was one where, you know, we're the only club in New Zealand, and it's a special club. And now I realise that living in New Zealand. Me and my wife were supposed to make the move, but obviously COVID happened and all those things kind of happened. So we ended up moving to a few different places before we got to New Zealand.
When did you first hear that it was a possibility that you were going to return home and play the homecoming game?
I think Cam George was kind of talking about it like in the mid to the start of the year and saying that, look, there's an opportunity for us to go back home once the borders open up. And the boys were licking their lips. We were just like, man. And I didn't know what it was like. I only played there, obviously, against the Warriors. Yeah. And it wasn't sold out then. And, you know, even at the time for us, knowing that we're going back to play at Mount Smart and in New Zealand and have our fans there, it was special, but I didn't realise it was going to be that loud. You know, the passion, you can hear it when you're running out. The fans are just, man, it's something special. The thing that I look back more fondly on was that walk from the tunnel, from the athletics track to Mount Smart Stadium. And that's something that probably will stay with me forever. And it's something that I'm so grateful that I got to experience. Because when you're walking through that tunnel and you just see smoke, all you can hear is just the fans screaming. So to run out where the 95 team ran out, where you would have ran out as well, it's pretty cool, bro.
What did you know of Webby? Obviously, Webby got announced the coach. Did you know much about him? Did you hear other people get excited, or were they not as excited? What were your thoughts on Webby when you heard?
Yeah, when Webby signed, I had no kind of, I guess, idea of what he'd done in the game or who he was. But Sean O'Sullivan kind of reached out to me, and he said to me, "Mas, Webby's an absolute legend. Like and Sean is a good fellow too." And he said, "Mate, he's an awesome coach." And when Webby first signed, he gave me a phone call. I think it was we versus Melbourne here at Mount Smart in 2022. And Webby reached out to me and just said, "Oh, mate, like I want you to stay at the Warriors. Like I love the way you play." And that gave me the confidence now. And like now that he's here, he coaching me. Now to see how far I've come under Webby, it just gives me so much confidence, and I can see that as well with other players, like not just myself. I can see the impact that Webby's had on other players in our squad, and it's pretty special what he's done. I've only been kind of coached by some really intense coaches. I was coached by Des Hasler, so he gave me my debut jersey. So he's very aggressive with his messaging, which I appreciate. Yep. But with Webby, he came in with this cool sense and just believed and trusted in his work, and that just gave me just a cool sense as well. Like, sometimes I guess my Chilean side can come out and I need to, and I guess I need to dial that back a bit more. But with Webby, he helps me be a bit more calm in tough situations or in situations where I need to make a decision. Yeah. Webby is just so cool and calm, and I think that rubs off on me as well. So it was awesome, just his calm messaging. Just
on that, Mas, I don't think I've seen Webby blow up at all. Has he had a bit of a blow up?
Nah. Look, to be honest, the 2 years he's been here at the minute, he hasn't had a blow up. He's been firm with his messaging, and he's been real precise in the way he gets his message across to us. He's been real calm, and even in situations where we might have started the game not to our standard, or we didn't finish the game to our standard, he's just had just a cool, calm and sense about him.
2023, what were the important games for you in terms of the wins, or the games that, you know, when you get together, you get a result and you take away huge belief from that?
It might have been round 3 months against the Cowboys in Townsville, and I've heard Webby speak about it before. But for me as a player, that instilled so much confidence and belief in what Webby was bringing to the club and bringing to the team. You know, when you're in an arm wrestle, I guess your footy kind of shows its truth there. And against the Cowboys, it showed that truth. And Webby was always confident and believing in what he brought to us and instilled. And I think that game, it just showed what we could do as a team. So for me, that game gave me that confidence and that thought of, hang on, there's something here, you know, we're a good team. The game against Parramatta, I think it might have been maybe around 18 or 19. Yeah. Only because I scored a double. Like I said, it's always good scoring tries. But, you know, like games like that where we could get our flow on.
What were your favourite tries of those two?
Well, they were both easy ones. There was one where I came off the left foot. I haven't got a big left foot, but I big note myself about it. But when I come off it, you know,
Watch out.
Yeah, that was probably the try that I enjoyed the most because I could come in and beat two defenders to score the try. Our attack just seemed to sink that day, and we were just scoring tries easy. I mean, and I say that with all due respect to Parramatta. I thought our attack was just flowing well that game, and yeah, I thought that game was a massive one that I look back on and I'm very proud of.
I want to talk the final series last year, and you were ever present in the final series. Where do you want to start?
It was my first final series once. It was nerve-wracking at the start, but once I got out there, it was, you know, this is where I'm meant to be, this is where I belong. And I think the Penrith game, it was awesome because we got to see who we were as a team. Yeah, we didn't play the best we could have. It was a learning curve for us. And when we lost that game, that fire in the belly was even more. And we showed it in the following week against the Knights. Yeah, we fell off at that Broncos game, but to see how far we had come as a club and as a team in 12 months with the same squad we had the previous year, with a few more signings, was pretty special and it was something to be proud of.
Okay, so you just lost to Penrith in your first finals game. You got to travel back home. The pressure, the feel that week, and then how you guys responded, because that crowd in itself was probably the best crowd I've seen in 30 years.
Yeah, and like I get goosebumps now thinking about that crowd and running out. That week leading up to the Knights, we were very confident in, I guess, in our abilities, in our game plan, but also obviously playing at home, it gives you another boost. Yeah. And running out there, man, was crazy. I had my father-in-law there, my wife was there, and it was just, mate, it was electric. I look back now, and it's probably my favourite game of my whole career.
You wouldn't have had confidence going into the game not knowing if Shaun Johnson was going to play, because I was up there doing commentary, looking down, noticing that the team was warming up here. Shaun Johnson was warming up by himself.
Yeah. To see what Shawnee did and how he could get through that week, he just knew that if he ticked these boxes, he could get his body right. And you're not going into a round-robin game, you're going into a finals game. It's do or die. If you lose, you're done. And for him to put his body on the line like that, he obviously loves the club with all his heart. So to have him do that, that gives you confidence as well. To be playing at that age, at an old age like that. Oh, sorry, I wouldn't say old.
Now you're in trouble now.
I want to get in trouble now, but yeah. But to be playing at an age like that and to make it look easy, Monty, and to be able to do it week in, week out and prep, and you know what it's like. You've been there, you've done that. So it's to see players like that inspires me.
That partnership with Adam Pompey, because he grew a leg, and I think you two on that left probably didn't always get the credit that you deserved, but geez, you held it down. Yeah,
it was awesome, Monty, to play with Wets. He's a great player, and I always tell him that. You know, he has a left arm offload, he has a right arm fend. He's very sound in defence, I think, and he's very calm in that approach to his defence. So he had an awesome year. I mean, he played every minute of every game. So to come into a season now this year where it was hard for him to know where he was going to be, he's come in, he hasn't complained, he's trained really hard every week, and he's done a job for us. And he's one of my close boys. It's always hard for me to see someone like that go through that, but he's outstanding, and to see how far he's come as a person as well is awesome.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
Yeah.
Is that a different kettle of fish to play outside?
Me and Rog click really well, and I talk about my old coaches and being real assertive with me as a player. Me and Roger are real assertive of each other and the way we want to play. If I'm not there on a kick chase, or if I'm not covering the right side, if we're shifting, then Roger rides me a lot, which I enjoy. But he expects that back from me as well, and he takes it in his stride. And I think that's made me a better player this year as well. Having a player of his calibre come in and being open to conversations, but also understanding, I guess, how we approach every scenario. Like, he's a legend of the club. He obviously won a Dally M. It's crazy to think that someone of that experience, of that calibre, says to Webby, put me anywhere on the field and I'll do a job for you, Webby. And so for players like myself and for the younger boys, it sets awesome examples.
Yeah, I want to talk about leadership because Webby's come here and there's no leadership group. Talk to me about the benefits of that, because it seems to me there, even more so this year, across the board, there are so many different leaders saying wonderful things at different moments.
Yeah, it's something that Webby brought to the club, and I respect it, and I kind of think it's a good thing to have, Mons. I feel like if you have a leadership group, you're always leaving someone out that's a leader, and I think if you're playing in the NRL, everyone's a leader, Mons, in their own way. You know, starting from our young boys, and they show that every day at training with the way they come in and the way they prep. So Webby's brought that in, and it's been good for the club because the boys know where they stand, and they know that when you're walking into an environment at the minute at the Warriors, everyone's a leader and everyone has a say, no matter if you played 200 NRL games or you've played one. So everyone's opinion matters, and the boys respect that. So that's probably why we're all pretty close as a group, but we also respect each other. When I was coming up through the junior grades, it was that mentality, Monty, of you had to earn respect of your elders. Back then I totally understood that and I respected that. We're coming into grade now, it's the same kind of scariness for these young fellas coming up, and they're obviously very nervous coming up. So for myself, if I can create an environment or be a person that these young fellas can lean on, they can relate to me, that's the person I want to be, Monty. I don't want to be someone that, says, oh, you have to earn my respect this way or by doing this, by doing that. They're there for a reason, and all the kids at the Warriors, all these young kids, they just want to learn. And I think if I can help these young fellas as much as I can, with the bit of knowledge that I've learned over the years of playing NRL, then, man, look, I'm more than happy to help them because they're all good fellas.
We had Chance on the show here, and he was very vocal about who you are, how you train, how you carry yourself around, and how you play. He wrapped you up, mate. How does it feel from a team that you admire? Yeah,
it's special, Monts, and what he brings with his professionalism, the person he is, the husband he is to his wife. It inspires me to be a better person. And it's awesome to have someone like that, and we're around the same age as well. We're on the mats early in the morning, we're prepping, we're talking not about footy, but about life as well. But you look, to have him there and to have Dal there, it inspires me to bring more and to want to get better. Because if I'm not trying to get better for them, then it's not worth it, or for my teammates mainly. But look, what Chance brings, it's unmatched, and I've seen him go through his prep, and the person he is, mate, it's special.
Let's talk about the whole up the wires and just more so the feel of what it's like to be a Warrior right now.
Being over in Australia for COVID, there wasn't much support for us. Obviously, there was from the NRL side, and our fans were still backing us, but you felt that there wasn't any support because we weren't playing at home. 2 years later, the up the wires comes in, and we're playing good footy, we're selling out stadiums. It's something, I guess, that I'm so grateful that I'm a part of, that one day I can tell my kids that look, our dad was able to play for a great club, for the Warriors, and got to experience good things as well. But that kind of drives me to, I guess to win a comp here, bro, because it'll be special.
Marcelo, once a Warrior, always a Warrior. That passion you show in the jumper every week just makes me so happy, mate. So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, Monty. I appreciate you, and thanks for having me on the show, brother.
I'm Monty Betham. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week for another episode of Once a Warrior.
Montoya, defenders to contend with, and he slips past all of them.
Beautifully taken, juggle and a score.
Oh, there, have some of that, Marcelo Montoya.
Montoya with a Superman cape on. Coming through, Marcelo Montoya gets his man. Get out of here. Montoya down the sideline. A big collision, and Montoya wins. Oh, he's collared. Now Montoya